Welcome, YouTube people. It is time. It is time for the podcast. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. A little old school with that beginning tonight. My name is Jason Robbins, and my usual co-pilot for the show is having another medical condition this week. He apparently his eardrum exploded and he can no longer hear, and he's can't do the show until next week. But we do have our guest that we had to rescheduled for Sunday, so that's going to be coming up this week. But joining me tonight, as soon as Jacob told me he couldn't do the show, I begged and bullied this man to come on the show tonight. My good friend, Mr. Wally Phelps.
Go fuck yourself, Jason.
Coming in hot. Coming in hot tonight.
No. How are things?
They're going good. How are things for you, my friend?
They're pretty decent. There's a Ghostbusters movie coming out in a month. So
I heard. So, speaking of the Ghostbusters, I want right up top, I want to tell everybody about your new podcast and let everybody know what the new podcast is if they haven't checked it out yet.
If you listen to this show, you hear the advertisement at the beginning of the show every week.
And if you haven't gone and listened to it yet, what are you doing? Go do it. Pause the show, go download it, and then come back.
So it is we try to make it less than an hour long, but it is essentially Ghostbusters news, paranormal investigation podcast. So basically, we are the real Ghostbusters. And the name of the show is Ready to Believe You, with my co-host Carlos Longoria, who is better known in most circles as I Am the Rampage. And we have been having a lot of fun doing the show because it's one of those topics where I just don't feel like it's work whenever we actually sit down to record.
Yeah, unlike this show.
Right. It's one of those things where it's like I hate it whenever you do a show and you think you're going to enjoy doing the show
and you don't.
And then like 5 episodes in, you're like, well, I'm running out of things to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen here.
Well, we've managed to go 190 something episodes so far with nothing to talk about. So, you know, I like the show though. I actually appeared on it. Not this last episode, but episode 3 was the episode I appeared on where I talked about a paranormal experience and the one that I continually get made fun of for because nobody believes me.
A friend of mine actually texted me after they listened to it and said, Jason just won't accept that it's not a ghost, will he?
I'm stuck
and they don't
squarely
even
in the
know
middle.
You.
I'm stuck squarely in the middle where I refuse to believe it wasn't a ghost and I refuse to believe it was a ghost. I'm just kind of like, I don't know which one it is.
You know what? I should bring my PKE meter up there whenever it comes in at the end of the year.
Like an actual PKE meter?
Yes. Hasbro is sending out PKE meters at the end of the year that have a real EMF detector in it. So as long as there's no,
so it's an actual functioning PKE meter.
That is correct, and and the arms will raise and everything. And,
dude, where was this stuff when we were children? Really?
They waited until we could afford them, frankly, because these things are not cheap.
Yeah,
my parents couldn't afford the $20 one from Walmart.
Yeah, so my parents would have went broke me asking for this stuff when I was a kid.
Right. Well, and the thing is that they actually announced it. They announce it on my birthday every year whenever they announce like new stuff, new Ghostbuster stuff. This year, I saw that they were releasing a ghost trap. That doesn't really work, but the PKE meter.
Speaking of ghost trap, I want that damn ghost trap popcorn bucket from AMC Theaters, but we don't have an AMC theater near us.
It sucks.
What's
I have one
I saw something where you had tweeted or something about there's something being released at Cinemark for Ghostbusters. What do they have?
They're gonna have like it's a Slimer that's holding a popcorn bucket.
Oh, that's cool
Uh,
though.
yeah, it is pretty cool. I just don't like the color they used. It's like it kind of looks like the Donkey Kong special edition Nintendo 64.
Let me look it up real quick.
That color
Cinemark
green, but
Ghostbusters.
like a jungle green, and it's there's other stuff there that they're selling, but
I don't see the Slimer one, but I do see Stay Puffed. I see a Stay Puffed one.
they do have a Stay Puft Sipper, I believe it is.
And I'm looking on the actual Ghostbusters news site, but oh yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah, it's kind of got that weird like 1980s
90s
green gel look to it.
where you could see through it like a phone.
Yeah, it
or
looks very cheap. It just looks cheap.
Yeah, and I have a Slimer over here anyway that's sitting on my shelf that looks very real. So it's not something that I really need.
But this popcorn bucket looks insane. Like it is so freaking detailed. Like why couldn't they?
Right.
Why couldn't they have that at Cinemark?
I don't know. I would have totally bought one.
I do like this other popcorn bucket though. They have it's like a tin pail with Slimer on it. It says Ghostbusters.
Oh, I do like that one. That because it looks like something that I would use at home. You know?
Yeah. It looks like a little garbage can, almost.
I would like a garbage can of popcorn,
give me
please.
A garbage can of popcorn, please.
It kind of reminds me of that Simpsons where Homer was on disability and he went to the movie theater and they gave him a garbage bag of popcorn to leave.
You know, when I worked at the movie theater, I used to work at the United Artists Biloxi 10 back in the 1990s, and we used to put popcorn in trash bags at the end of the night to save it, to reheat it the next morning, to give it out to the first wave of customers. Like we would mix in new popcorn with it, but no popcorn ever went to waste.
And that's fine.
And you know what else? You know what else is kind of gross? Not gross, but we used to tell people. We used to have the hot dog rollers, and underneath the roller, you would have the metal drawer where you would keep the buns to keep the buns warm. Well, sometimes if you kept the buns in there for too long, they would get like dry and hard. And we would tell people when we had too many of them that were like dry and hard, we would ask people, do you want a toasted bun? We would sell it as a toasted bun.
My God, I fell for it. I used to get a hot dog at that particular theater.
Those were the best hot dogs ever, weren't they? I've never found another hot dog in my life that tasted like those hot dogs.
They had those specific hot dogs at the junior store down the road from where I lived. It's not there anymore. It's now like, I don't remember. It's like Big Ridge Grocery or something mess like that. But now I remember walking down there, and that would be my snack for my after school snack. I had my allowance money.
Yeah.
And I'd spend $2 on a drink and a hot dog, and it's
remember when you could
a
buy
chili
a drink?
dog, really.
Remember you could get a drink and a hot dog for $1 or $2.
Yeah.
Those were
God,
the days.
we sound like, remember back when we were, young men, our parents would be like, man, you used to get that for a quarter.
Yeah, I know. My dad used to say stuff like that all the time. Like, I used to go take your mom out on a date. We'd go get McDonald's and go to a movie all for less than $5. Yeah. I'm like, well, good for you, old man. And he was like 35 at the time.
Damn shame. I like all of these special editions. There's a little gift bundle that Walmarts are starting to get with Ghostbusters stuff in it. And
yeah, I heard you talking about that. What all does that entail?
It has a khaki Ghostbusters hat. It has a Ghostbusters throw, It's like a blanket with all the Ghostbusters on it. Has a light up sign that you can get. There is a Fandango cache, so you can rent a movie from Fandango.
Ooh.
And it's got these little um,
Oh, the
name
patches.
tags
Patches, yeah.
that are iron on. They're not true to size, but and I think there was one other thing, and I can't remember what it is. But it was really cool. I actually found what I did is I actually went on Walmart.com and searched around us for one and found one and just ordered it for pickup. And they just walked up to my window and handed it to me.
Give me my Ghostbusters stuff now.
Right. Are you the guy that ordered this? And I'm sitting there in full Ghostbusters regalia. No, that's not
No.
true.
Why would you think that I ordered this?
How presumptuous.
I'm excited for this new movie, though. I don't know if anybody listens to this is a big a Ghostbusters fan as we are. And well, you're twice the Ghostbusters fan I am, maybe 3 times, because I love Ghostbusters, but you live Ghostbusters.
Like I'm sitting next to a proton pack currently, so it's like I could just switch it on right now.
But I am so freaking excited for this new movie. That trailer and the international trailer too, it shows a lot more than the American version did. And there's so many cool little things in there. Like if you look at some of the technical journals of the Ghostbusters, like of what they had when they were doing pre-production on the very first movie, back in '84, all the cool little gadgets that they had, they never got to actually make. They're in the movie now, and I think that's incredibly incredible attention to detail and fan service, but just really cool that to say, hey, we're going to really we love this stuff, and we're going to treat it with respect.
Right. I don't remember who gave it to me, but I have the Ghostbusters the art of Ghostbusters, basically.
I think I gave you that book a long
You might
time ago.
have, because I think you gave me that, and Stephanie gave me the Tobin Spirit Guide. So
I remember when she gave you that.
The set.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was one of the greatest days of my life, and now I'm a professional. But no, I that book actually has those concept drawings for the original, like the arm-loaded Neutrino wand, and it's funny because in the original version they had helmets and stuff like that. Yeah. It almost looked like like THX 1138 looking type thing.
Well, the thing is, the original script that Dan Aykroyd had written was so unfilmable. Like, because it dealt with like multi-dimension, like jumping through dimensions and like all kind of crazy stuff that they would probably, wouldn't have trouble filming today. But, it was just in 1984, it was like, dude, you got to pare this down. So
what are you trying to do to me?
I would love to actually read the original script at some point.
Absolutely. I would love to have access to any of the unproduced scripts, that Dan Aykroyd had written, because he has written, oh God, I can't remember how many Ghostbuster 3s that I would lose my mind. I could just read that for the rest of my life. I'm a slow reader though, so that makes sense. And there's also, just talking about unproduced Ghostbuster stuff. There's one from 2 of the writers of The Office actually wrote. There's a lot that's out there that just never made it.
And I got a hot take here. I don't care. I'm so tired of people dumping on Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 2 is not a bad movie at all. It's not. You can't expect it to be as good as the first movie, but it's utterly watchable and funny. It has one of the funniest scenes in any movie ever that still makes me laugh to this day, when Winston gets run over by the ghost train. Did you get the number of that train? Nope.
Sorry, I missed it.
It's one of the greatest scenes in film history.
It's also what the first, I want to say the first time I was truly scared of a movie that I was watching in the theater.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't watch a whole lot of like horror movies or anything like that but I was 8 years old when that movie came out. And oh my goodness, that Winston, and then all the heads on the pikes and all that. It's like, what in the hell is this?
Dude,
you know?
and it's utterly quotable too. Like throughout my teenage years and my 20s, like when me and my friends would see each other out in public, we would scream, "It's Vigo!"
You are like the buzzings of flies to him.
That
I do that
movie's.
all the time too.
I don't think people give those movies, especially Ghostbusters. I mean, yes, it's a classic. It's up there as one of like the top 10 greatest, if not one of the greatest movies ever made. But people still don't give it enough credit for walking the perfect line between comedy and horror. Because
I
that movie
agree.
could have easily fell to one side or the other, and it didn't. It perfectly walked that line.
It is, in fact, my favorite movie of all time. And it's funny because I can't help but remember whenever we were doing a debate on the funniest movies of all time, we had to choose one movie and somebody had already chosen Ghostbusters. So I chose Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and it killed me to win that one.
but hey, but that's a great comedy too. Like as far as greatest comedies ever made, that's definitely in the top 10.
Right, right. Well, I can't. It's funny.
There's
My
no
little
shame.
girl actually
There's no shame
saw
in
it for the
that.
first time. Yeah. My little girl wanted to watch it, and the thing is, she doesn't want to watch movies ever, and so she sat there and watched all of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. At one point, she did ask, "How much longer does this have?" And I had to tell her about one Mr. Beast video's worth. She's
And
like,
that
"That's a really
movie,
good way of telling me this."
God, that has got to be one of the silliest movies ever made.
Awfully silly place. We don't need to go there.
But yeah, I'm really excited for Ghostbusters. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm that's probably other than Deadpool. Those are my two most anticipated movies of this year.
How'd you feel about the trailer
For Deadpool.
for Deadpool?
Yeah, I loved it. The first line where he's like, I'm what he said. It was something about pegging. He said, and Disney's not used to that.
Pegging isn't trying to scare me. Pegging's not new to me,
Yeah,
but it is to Disney.
yeah.
And stares at the screen. Yeah, that's great.
Best line of the year so far. That right there.
So far, that movie's got away. Like we got 2 hours of that movie to make. And I am excited to see what they do with it because I love the fact that there's obviously this fight scene that's happening around the buried 20th Century Fox logo.
Yeah.
There's so many little nods and just I don't know what they're going to do with this. And I'm pretty sure Wade's going to fuck it up and cause a secret war to happen.
And the last scene of the trailer reminded me a lot of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when he's on the ground and he's like, "Well, don't just stand there. You whatever he says, like, help, yeah, you big dumb ape, help me up." And he pops his claws and he's like, "Oh, no, I'm good." And then it fades to black. I'm like, I wonder what happens after that.
Actually, I think I'm good. I'm
And if you've ever seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you know where I'm going with it.
Which reminds me, I bought you a Christmas present. It is a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles board game.
What?
Well, I think it's more of a card game, but it said board game. So,
dude, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it now, and I keep forgetting to bring it.
We gotta play that. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Yes, I know. That's why I bought it.
I mean, I watched it like twice over Thanksgiving break.
I've never watched it all the way through.
Really?
Yeah, I just never had to. Like every time I go to watch it, something happens. It's like a tradition.
It kind of is an acquired taste kind of comedy because it is very uncomfortable a lot of the times.
I mean, it's not so much that I can't sit through it. It's that I can't sit through it because something is happening. Like the last time I tried to watch it, I had to I had to stop it because I had to go do something. I can't remember what it was, and I was going to finish it the next day, and it was off of the streaming platform that I was watching it on.
Oh yeah, that
And
movie moves around a lot. That's why
right,
I have a VHS and a DVD copy, so I don't have to worry about it. But we do have
just in case.
we have a complex way of watching stuff as well, thanks to a
Oh, that's true. That is true.
good friend of ours.
That's true. Well,
Wow. Another thing I wanted to bring up on the show is you, my friend, have a child who has, you throw birthday parties for her and stuff. So I went to a friend's daughter's birthday party this last weekend. And I just wanted to ask you, do you feel that in our society we have made things that are supposed to be simple way too complicated for no reason whatsoever?
I want to say yes, for the reasons that I'm sure you're about to come up with, because it always seems like not only are there more parties involved with having a child than I expected, but also the number of things you're supposed to do at these parties is apparently like the tradition continues to spread because of some influencers showing us this is how we do our birthday party.
Well, I don't mind birthday parties when they're like, at a restaurant or if they're at their house or something like that. Because, like I don't have children. So, I buy gifts for my friends' children and I'll go to their birthday parties, hang out with my friends for a bit, eat some cake and ice cream, and then hit the road, there for an hour at the most. But the birthday party I went to this weekend, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want him to feel like his feelings, if he listens to this, which he probably won't, but I don't want him to feel like his feelings, I don't want his feelings to get hurt or anything, but because it's not his fault.
Yeah. I mean, Robert is kind of a very, no, I'm kidding. I don't know who was.
Well, no, it's just because of the place it was being held at, and it's one of those bounce places.
Oh,
it's the new one that's in the Edgewater Mall, which it's in the old there. It's in a building in the Edgewater Mall.
The mall.
Yeah, it's in where the old Tulane University satellite campus used to be.
You mean
they Tulane is in? That's what I was gonna say. Even while I was in there, I was like, they took out Tulane University and put in a bounce house. Does that say something about our society right there?
That is why I haven't been to the mall in forever, but please continue.
So we get there and it's already busy because it's on a Saturday, of course. Mm-hmm. Even without the 3 birthday parties already going on there at the same time, there's easily 500 people in this place, maybe more. I don't know. It's just it's
that's a lot of goddamn people.
There's a lot of people in this place. So we get there, we're not sure what to do. So as soon as you walk in, you turn to the right, and the places open up to you, but you can't just walk in. You got to sign in. But they have the counters there where you walk up to, and it's got like the different birthday parties, and you see which birthday party you're a part of, and you go up and you registered, I guess, to go into the party. So we go in there and we wait in line, and we're waiting there forever, and finally get up to the front, and they say, "Oh, you got to sign a waiver." I'm like, I'm not jumping on anything. I'm almost 50 years old. I just want to go into a birthday party. Well, we got to do it for safety purposes. Like, what safety purposes? I'm not jumping on anything. I'm not even going near the floor.
Yes, but that's what you say.
But so we had to get out of line, go over to these iPads they had on the wall. And I'm sitting there trying to sign in, and they don't, and whatever the program they have doesn't even have like the full keyboard. It's like the tiny little keyboard that I'm trying to like use my big fat sausage fingers to hit the letters of my name. And it's like K, no, not K, J. I finally get the J, and it's got, and it's got predictive text that pops up, and it's like Jacob, like, no, not Jacob. I hit the A. And then I hit the S, and it says, instead, You would think with the name Jason, one of the most common names in the English language, especially for people born in the 1970s, you would think Jason would be the first thing that pops up. It said Jasper.
I knew it. I knew it was Jasper because there are more Jaspers going to bounce places than there would be Jasons nowadays.
Who names their kid Jasper? Like, what are we?
Fans of Twilight.
Really? Like, that sounds like, what am I? Am I a soldier in the Civil War? Like,
he was. Oh my God. That is his backstory.
What?
Jasper, the vampire, was a soldier in the Civil War.
My dearest Clementine.
On the bad side.
My dearest Clementine, it is your love, Jasper. I'm writing to you from the front lines here in Gettysburg.
It's hilarious how you're able to guess things about Twilight without even knowing you're doing it.
I had no idea whatsoever. I'm like, Jasper? Who the fuck is named Jasper? And
So
you're clearing a lot of things up for me right now.
And you know, the thing is that this also proves that Twilight can be written in your sleep.
So anyway, I finally get done, and then of course you got like the 3 pages of legalese you gotta like click boxes for, and I'm not reading any of it. It's like an Apple user agreement, man. It's like so much stuff, and I could have given away like my kidneys for all I know. And so finally get through that, and then you got to get back in line again. And then my friend sees us in line finally, and he comes over. He's like, "Don't worry about that. Just come on in." So we just went on back to the party. You know, had a good time, ate some cake, drank some soda pop, and had a
bounce house.
And the thing is, like, I understand you got to sign waivers nowadays, but when I was a kid, the parents didn't have to sign waivers when they went to the parties at the skating rink when I was a kid, because you stand to get way more injured in a skating rink than a bounce house. At least in a bounce place, if I fall down, it's going to be on a soft surface.
I don't know. It was almost. Could you cut that out? But my daughter was almost folded.
I'll cut that out.
Okay, I appreciate it. My daughter was almost folded in half.
Jesus.
So they have like a little like what's that show called? Wipeout, where it has like a little like I don't know what you even call it. It's like a pole that's turning clockwise.
I saw some videos the other day of this poor kid getting clocked by that thing, and he couldn't. Every time he tried to stand up, it would knock him the hell down again.
Well, she tried to jump over it, and it hit her with such force that she was nearly folded in half. And it was hilarious once we found out that she was 5. But, oh my God, she just like, it was so, I was like, oh my God, is she okay?
Good thing kids are made of rubber.
Right? Because she was crying and all this kind of stuff. And then finally, I was, she's like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to go jump around. And it's like, well, either she's fine or she's jostling a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gnarly. And they made me delete the video I took of it. But,
should have kept it for when she's older and be like, remember when you almost died?
And that's what she was. She made the decision. So, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, do you mind if I share this? Yes, I do. Could you please delete that? Like, fine.
I mean, I can understand that, but like bounce places, like the floor is soft. Yeah, you might bend something out of place, but at the skating rink, if you fall down, not only do you have to worry about hitting a hardwood floor, you also have to worry about other people like skating over your fingers and shit.
Right. There's going to be a lot of concussions.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people have been concussed at that place.
Oh God, it's got to be thousands.
It's funny because the carpet used to be fine for me, right? Whenever you're going around a little carpet
Which
area.
the last time
But
I
the
was at the skate
moment,
park, it's the same carpet that's been there since like the 70s.
oh my God. But if you go around but to the back, because if you want to either get something to eat or drink or go to the bathroom, you have to get on tile, linoleum,
Yeah.
which was not good. What you would see is like these people who can't skate very well, which is me, and like everybody else, just flying right into the wall of the bathroom, and then just like scooting over so they could get around the little wall. And it's like, this is wild.
Yeah, my cousin used to work at the skate park. I remember one time I was there. She said she had just got done helping this girl that was going to the bathroom. And as soon as she hit that linoleum or the tile, she flew into the stall and got wedged in between the wall and the toilet. They had to go in there and pull her out.
I do not think that's any fabrication.
No.
And a lot of my favorite arcade games were in that area, so you would end up having to like very carefully just kind of position yourself. I mean, I never learned to skate because they were trying to kill me, and that's
Yeah.
really what it was. And out on the floor, I ended up being pretty good at that. But like the moment I step on the linoleum, hell no.
I didn't, I was too old to be skating last time I went there. So I just kind of got myself a pocket full of quarters and went into the snack bar area, and they had a Miss Pac-Man machine in there. So I stayed there for like 2 hours just playing Miss Pac-Man. And then I had this crowd of little kids around me who were looking there just like, what is this? I'm like, this is Miss Pac-Man, one of the greatest video games ever made. And they're asking me questions like, what are you doing in the game? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to eat these things, and then you power up and you eat the ghosts when they turn blue. And then once you get so many, when you clear the board, you go to the next board, and they're like, that's awesome. And they just sat and watched me for like 30 minutes play Miss Pac-Man.
Like, that's like a baby's toy.
Yeah, that's how I felt. That's what I felt like. Like that, you got to use your hands. That's like a baby's toy.
Oh, that's so funny. Uh, it's wild how we went from, you are the controller to nothing but controllers now.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many controllers.
Like when I was a kid, I really thought that by 2024, video games were going to be like the Matrix. Like we were just going to plug them straight into our heads.
I mean, we're getting there. Have you seen what do you think about the Apple Vision Pro?
I mean, it looks all right. I'm one of the kind of people that I'm going to wait a few years until VR or AR is at a good spot and not in the what would you say, like right now that we're in the early adopter phase where they're still kind of working kinks out and trying to get developers to do things for it. I'm going to wait till like you get get a couple of killer apps on it that like you actually absolutely have to have, and the price has got to come down some.
Right. There's no way I can justify buying something like that without a killer app of some sort that I cannot live without.
Yeah, if I'm
Because
gonna spend $3,500, dude, I'm going to get like a souped up Alienware or something like that.
right, if you're dropping that kind of money, you can have any PC you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Near about. But it's like it looks really cool, and there's a lot of use cases for it. But because I've seen people cooking with it, and like if you look over, you can like put timers over the pots, and then look away and then look back to see how much time each pot has and stuff like that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
but that's not $3,500 worth of sweet.
Yeah, not when I could just go buy some timers for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree and just have like multiple timers on the stove.
My phone does that, so I don't know why I wouldn't just use my phone. I mean, if you're going to charge me that kind of money, you're going to end up needing me to be able to, because being able to do applications that you can do anywhere else, but just in front of you, that doesn't seem like as good of a deal to me as I thought.
Yeah, if I'm spending $3,500, I want to be completely immersed in some kind of digital world.
The coolest thing I saw was somebody went to sleep with it on, and had his entire surroundings set up to look like he was sleeping on the moon.
That would be cool.
And it was pretty sweet because he's doing capture of the of what he's seeing, and it looked amazing. Like he leaned up and you could see like the moons around you, and it's like that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's not $3,500 worth of sweet. I'm gonna say that a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, maybe once they get it down to $500.
Oh, there's no way they're ever going to sell it for that.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
This is Apple we're talking about. They sell like incrementally better things at the same or higher price of the last version.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Once Apple does something, it's kind of like other companies will try to do the same thing but cheaper.
But they already are doing the same thing but cheaper. Like,
yeah, I mean, I could
get Vision Quest Pro.
Yeah, like I could get a Meta Quest, but I don't want to give.
Meta Quest.
I don't want to give Facebook my money. I just don't.
Well, that's not even the only one. There's also the HTC that they have their headset. There is Lenovo with their headset. There's the glasses that do a lot of the same things. There's just a lot of people in the space. They do it as well? I mean, no, but $3,500 is still a lot of money for most people.
I mean, I could see it working for like work function, like if
a lot of enterprise things,
or if you're working like even with like graphic design and stuff like that, you could do stuff just like in the air in front of you and move things around and do things like I could see those type of applications. Work for like workflow, things like that. Like you said, you can put a timer over here, move your face and move your head back and it's still there. Like you can do that with different windows and things like that, things you want to keep over here, and then you go work on something over here. And
you would think so, but it has a limitation where you can only have one display for your computer. So if you are trying to use your Mac or MacBook Pro or something of that nature, and you want that big giant display, you can have the big giant display. You're just going to have one of them. So you can't have more than one doing different things. You can have multiple apps open at the same time, but one of those apps would end up being your computer. So it doesn't do the one thing we probably would use it to do.
Yeah, that seems weird. Like I want to be able to have multiple windows like everywhere,
Right. Because you can do more than one thing. It just can't be that same thing more than one time. And it's just, that feels like a limitation that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. I mean, sure, you can make the screen bigger and just use the different windows on that screen. But I
still just feel like we're just in the beginning phases of VR and what it's going to be. Like somebody's going to figure out a great use for it, even for like movies and stuff like that, where you could feel more immersed and things like that.
That is one of the other cool things about it that I liked, is that you can watch 3D movies. You can watch movies with spatial awareness, so you can look around. So all that's really cool, but there's only a few built-in applications for that. For example, Netflix does not have an app on it. And I think that's going to end up being another thing that kind of is going to be a wait and see thing for a lot of people, because developers don't like Apple right now. And that's because they're charging so fucking much for their licensing.
30% or something like that.
Some ungodly amount of
that's why I think
revenue.
Like what if what if Microsoft's got to be working on something.
They've already got something out there. That's another thing that's already like it's an AR headset. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called like Surface.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
I know they have like Surface is the touchscreen computers that they have, but I think it's also a Surface something.
There was something else that was released not too long ago too. I think it was called like the Monocle or something like that.
I think that is a thing. That sounds right. Let me look that one up.
Now that I could see being a practical everyday use item, like taking that, like if you're if you travel a lot and you're in a new area, like you put the monocle on and you through that one eye, you can see like, have like, you GPS or something on, or like tells you like places of interest and things like that, tells you things about the area where you're at and things like that. Like that seems useful to me.
Right. The worst thing about monocle is that when you Google it, it just comes up with pictures of monocles.
Whatever happened to Google Glass? That was a thing for like 3 seconds and then went away.
There is a lot of there's a lot of things that happen to that. The main one being that it cost too much for what it did. The second thing is,
I think that's the number one barrier for why VR is not being accepted widely by the public is it's too expensive.
And there's not a lot of reasons why you would need it.
Yeah.
And that's that's really the big thing. I mean, right now it's a niche market.
Yeah.
And it is the Apple Vision Pro is currently for early adopters, Apple fanboys, and people with way too much goddamn money.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you need.
If I'm ever going to get a VR headset, you've got to give me a reason to have it. And right now, there's not a single reason that I need to have it.
No. And they're cool. I mean, yeah, that's nice. But in order to do what you need it to do.
I'm an Apple fanboy. If they want to send me one just to have, I'll take it.
They will,
but they will not do that.
I mean, they would send you one early if you were a tech person, but they, the funny thing is that in order to get the experience, the full experience of this headset, is you need an iPhone, because Android can't do a lot of the things that you have to in order to get that thing to work right, and you need a Mac. So not only are you going to need that $3,500 headset, but you're also going to have to invest in that phone, which is about $1,500 if you're getting a newer one.
Yeah, that's the thing. These are not standalone items. They need to be tethered to a PC or a Mac.
Exactly. They and that PC and Mac. I mean that. Well, not even. Well, you can do. What's that thing called? Steamcast. I forgot what it's called. But you can actually stream your PC to it, which that's cool.
The Steam Link or whatever.
Steam Link, that's it, and that works. So that's cool. But I don't know why you would do that. But unless you have like VR games you want to play, and I don't even know if the controls. But I know that you can apparently pair a controller to it. But it's just so up in the air right now about, well, what do I do with this now that I have it? It feels superfluous.
That's the word, superfluous.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I've seen with one looks like someone I would never talk to.
A douchebag,
basically, or a tech bro. Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. You got your Austin Evans, you got your Marquez Brownlee, and the like. But at the same time, these people that are like pulling up in their cyber trucks, and hopping out with this thing on their face is like, you're only hiding your face, so you're less punchable.
Yeah,
this is not, nothing against people like that. Okay, no, fuck y'all.
Well, this has been Tech Talk with Open Micers. But we're going to go ahead and start closing out the episode here. Wally, thank you so much for filling in for Jacob this week.
It's been a pleasure. I haven't talked to you in quite a while about things.
Tell everybody again where they can follow you and follow the podcast.
Well, I'm at The Real Big Wall everywhere. The podcast you can find at www.linktree.com/R2 to be Y. R, the letter R, the number 2, B, and Y. Ready to believe you.
I will put that link in the show notes for you people to all you gotta do is click it and it'll take you right.
What do you
there.
mean, you people?
You people. You Jaspers. All you Jaspers out there listening to the show.
All you Jaspers out there. This goes out to the Jaspers.
This one goes out to the Jaspers out there in the world. And all you Clementines that all the Jaspers love. Well, if you want to email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. We're at openmicers.com, and Linktree/openmicerspodcast takes you everywhere you need to go. That's all of our socials. We even have buttons to donate up there, like Cash App, PayPal. Our Patreon is there. And that's going to do it for this week. Thank you again, Wally, for joining me, and we will see you guys next week. Something witty. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube, and we will see you all next week.